When you struggle to detach from the outcome, you're essentially saying that you have no faith in your journey, no faith in the process, and no faith in the timing of your life. Hi, my loves. My name is Deandra Nicolette, and on my channel, we do a lot of chit chats, a lot of stuff about spirituality, life, dating, honestly, anything I feel called to record and talk about and share with y'all. So if you're into that kind of vibe, stick around, watch this video. And if you like me, if you like this kind of content, feel free to subscribe, share this with a friend, like, give it a thumbs up, comment, all the things, all the engagement things, okay? Today, we're chatting about detachment. I did a video recently where I was talking about 5 things that I've changed in my dating process in order to attract men that are more aligned with my vibe and the kind of partner that I want in my life. And in that video, I referenced detachment. And I mentioned to you guys that I was going to create a video on detachment if you wanted to see that, and you did. So here we are. That's what we're talking about today. Let's talk about what detachment is and what it's not. So I feel like when we talk about detachment, a lot of people kind of get into this whole like no feelings, no emotions, nothing. I want to be completely stoic type of vibe. And that's honestly not what detachment is. Detachment is simply realizing that you have no control over the outcome and letting go of this desire to control what that outcome is. When you struggle with detachment, what you're actually struggling with is letting go of control. The more that you try to control an outcome and find yourself attaching to a certain person or opportunity, the more you give that person or opportunity control over you. Detachment doesn't mean that you have no emotions and you don't care about being with that person, or you don't care about getting that job, or you don't care about whatever it is you find yourself attaching to. Detachment simply means that you understand that everything is going to work out as it should. And no amount of worrying, no amount of trying to control the outcome, no amount of panic is going to get the outcome to be exactly what you want it to be. You're only going to drive yourself insane by doing so. Practicing detachment can be a little bit difficult, especially if you're someone that is like myself and used to having control over certain outcomes or having a really nice laid out plan for how you expect things to go. One of the things that I did on my journey to really help me with detachment was understanding that practicing detachment was also practicing being faithful or having faith. Now, if you're not religious, totally understand. I consider myself to be more spiritual, so I believe in a higher power. I call that higher power God. You can believe in whatever you want, but for me, this relationship with that higher power was and is still very essential to my practicing of detachment. When you practice detachment, you're essentially saying, okay, I can control these things, and everything else that is outside of my control, I'm giving it up to that higher power. I'm letting it go and I'm taking that burden off of my plate. And a lot of times I don't think we realize just how much being attached to something actually brings us so much stress and so much burden until we actually release it and let it go. And then we realize how much lighter we feel where we're not sat there being so like tight gripped about a certain outcome or about a certain situation. A lot of times when you have a tight grip on control, it's really rooted in fear. We're afraid to let go of control because we simply don't know what happens when we do that. If we're not controlling every single aspect of the process, a lot of it seems to be left up to chance. And for a lot of people, leaving things up to chance doesn't feel good. It feels very chaotic, it feels very sporadic, and it feels very much like you're just out of control because you honestly are. The reason I say that practicing detachment is so linked to faith for me is because as you release attachment on whatever outcome, whatever relationship, whatever thing you're feeling incredibly attached to, you start to realize that you're leaning more into faith and trust that the situation will work out exactly as it should. So I want to talk about a couple of different grounded and specific ways that you can start to practice detachment in your life on an everyday basis. The first thing is to focus on what you can control. This is super helpful, especially when it comes to relationships. And I think I'll give relationships as an example moving forward because I feel like it is probably the easiest one for a lot of people to understand. When it comes to relationships, at the end of the day, all you can control is what you do. All you can control is what you say, what you think, how you treat other people. That's literally it. Every single other thing, how people treat you, what they say to you, what they think of you, that is outside of your control. You literally can't strong arm people into like feeling a certain way about you or into doing what you want them to do. People will always do what it is that they want to do. And I feel like once you start to realize that, you're able to detach from the outcome of how certain relationships play out, because you realize, okay, I can only control what I can control, and that is exactly how I go into the situation and how I treat people, what I say, etc. And then your focus becomes more on being the person that you want to be, showing up as who you are, and knowing that no matter how it plays out, you did the best for you. You showed up in a way that would make yourself proud. It definitely shows up in your energy and relationships too, because the more that you place the focus on yourself and what you're putting out there, the more that you're able to actually show up in your natural and authentic energy. And the people that are drawn to you, the people that are meant to connect with you, the people that actually want to be in your life and engage with you will show up. And the people that don't want to do that, the people that don't resonate with your authentic energy, they're naturally going to phase themselves out. So the second thing that has helped me when it comes to practicing detachment is to embrace divine timing. This is a huge one. It goes really hand in hand with the faith piece. But for me, I just believe that everything happens in its own timing. This is a really difficult one sometimes, because I feel like when you really want something to happen, it can be really annoying when people tell you like, oh my God, everything will happen in its own time. I believe in a mix of free will and destiny or fate. And I think the free will is what you can control, right? That's you and the actions and how you show up and what you say and all of that good stuff, like what you consume, whatever. And then the things that are outside of your control make up a lot of what is destined or what is fated. Things will just happen in your life. And a lot of times when you look back at the timing of your life, you realize that, oh, I had to like do this before I met this person. I had to move to this location. I had to join this club. I had to do this before I was able to be ready for this job that I really wanted to. In this particular present moment, you're not able to see all of the ways that you need to grow and change and adapt and whatever in order to be ready for the opportunities that you so desperately want in your life. And so one of the things that you can do is to give it up to divine timing, is to realize, okay, I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be right now. I am in this moment because there's something that this moment has to teach me. There's something this moment is bringing me. And perhaps what it is that the moment is teaching and bringing you is simply just peace. What if right now, the moment that you're in is for you to understand what it means to feel content? What if right now you're in a waiting season for something else that's coming around the corner, but you're not quite ready, or the opportunity or the person is not quite ready? What does it look like if you rush something to happen before it's ready? Think about a time where you felt really secure in your life. Maybe it was in a partnership, maybe it was at your job, maybe it was just like where you are in life. You felt really secure, you felt really content. That feeling of security, that feeling of knowing that you're taken care of, that feeling of knowing that things will work out, that feeling of knowing that there's someone there for you, that feels so warm and beautiful and comforting, versus the feeling of anxiety, the feeling of like, oh my God, I just don't know when it's gonna happen, and panic and fear. Those are low vibrational feelings. Like when you think about how you feel when you're in an anxious state, when you're in a fearful state, you're very like this. It's like you almost act out of desperation. You do things that you wouldn't do if you were in a state of security and a state of flow and a state of allowing. So when we're leaning into divine timing, when we're practicing detachment, this is also about getting into an energetic state where we're allowing opportunities for things to flow into our lives without us needing to take any sort of desperate energy in order to feel that that's what we need to do to get what we want. Another way to practice detachment is to stop looking at societal timelines as the end all be all. If you lean into what social media, what society tells you that you need to do and when you need to do it, you're gonna find that you always in some way feel either behind or feel like you're not enough. At the end of the day, your life timeline is so unique to who you are. And I know we hear this all the time. It's like, I'm not saying anything new. Like, let's be so for real right now. now, like y'all know I'm not saying anything new in this video. You guys know all of this stuff logically, deep in your hearts and your soul. It's just that sometimes you need the reminder from someone. And I feel like this is me just giving you and giving myself the reminder. Societal timelines, throw them out of the window, like throw them out. And there are going to be days where it comes up where you're kind of like, oh, like I wish, or like you're looking at other people and seeing what they have and what they're doing, and you're feeling like you're behind, and you're feeling like you're failing, and you're feeling like all of these things. But there are going to come other days where you look at where you are and you're going to be so grateful and thankful and happy. You're going to be like, wow, I'm glad I don't have a house right now, or I'm glad I'm single and I get to embrace what it means to have this time by myself to really learn about myself, or I'm glad I'm not a parent right now, so I have this extra time to learn about myself and kind of be the person that I want to be and take these risks and do all these different things that maybe some people who are in that position don't have the full freedom to do. And it's not, again, about comparing yourself to others and kind of like seeing yourself as being better than them in some area for whatever reason. But this is about understanding that society can't possibly try to put us all in one box, because there's no way we're all going to fit in one box. Like, make it make sense. The billions of people on this earth, like, you're telling me that we all have to like live our life a certain way in order for that to be successful? Like, why are we subscribing to that narrative? It literally makes no sense. So when you sit down and you realize the insanity of that, you start to realize that you can let go of societal timelines. And that helps with detachment, because I think a lot of times we are attached to ideas of who we think we should be based on societal timelines, based on the rules of what we've been taught growing up, based on our culture. When you're practicing detachment, you need to learn how to lean into the present moment. A lot of times when we are not practicing detachment, it's because we're anxiously thinking about the future of a certain situation. You know, what happens if he doesn't do this? What happens if I don't get the job? What happens if this? And all of a sudden we're like spiraling, thinking about future things, future problems that we really don't even have yet. So rooting yourself in the present moment is really helpful, because you can be like, okay, I'm right here, right now. I don't have this issue. Like, this is not a problem that I have to worry about. Now, it's not about like not being responsible or not being prepared. But if you find yourself anxiously worrying about something that's yet to happen, or something that might not even happen, I think it's really important to bring yourself back to the present moment and ground yourself and be like, I'm here right now, and this is my experience right now, not whatever it is that I'm ruminating on. I also like to see rejections as protection, and that really helps me to lean into the faith again and understand that if something doesn't work out for me, especially something that I was like super attached to and really wanted a certain outcome in, it's because there's a reason. Like, there's a reason that it didn't work out. And I honestly go into like my delusional, which I don't even think is really delusional, but I go into my delusional mindset and I'm just like, this thing didn't work out because there's something better. You just kind of have to move with this confidence and knowing that whatever is for you will find you. And so there's no need to attach yourself to anything, because at the end of the day, things will flow in and out. You know what I mean? And what is meant to flow to you, what is meant to align to you, will naturally come and flow to you and align to you. And what isn't will flow out because it's not meant for you. One last thing I'll end with is that change is the only constant. So when I really started to embrace the understanding and knowing that change is the only constant, that helped so much on my journey, especially when it comes to detachment. When you really lean into that understanding, you not only welcome change, but you understand that change doesn't always mean that bad things are going to happen. You also understand that change can be really good. Change can mean transformation of yourself, transformation of a relationship, transformation of beliefs, transformation of life purpose, all of these different things. And I think a lot of times when we're practicing attachment, we're attached to specific outcomes, but we're also attached to the ideas not really changing. We're attached to things being stagnant in some ways, because stagnancy can often feel comforting to us because we know what to expect, and it feels like control to us if we know what to expect and we know that things aren't going to switch upon us. There's something really beautiful about change, and there's something really beautiful about welcoming change in your life and understanding that change can bring about so many different beautiful new open doors for you, and it can also lead to some of your best memories. So I saw this quote in a book the other day, I forget what book it was, but it basically said something like, some of your best memories are yet to be created. And I thought that was so beautiful because, you know, for us to really like understand that some of our best moments, some of our best life experiences have yet to happen, we have to also understand and embrace change, because those things cannot happen without things around us changing, without our environments changing, our mindsets changing, our relationships, our friend groups, whatever. I think once you start to really lean into embracing change, you naturally detach, because there's no way to really be fully attached to any one outcome if you're also at the same time understanding and embracing change. They're kind of like opposites. So as long as you're open for change, embracing change, unafraid of change, welcoming to change, you are in many ways practicing detachment. Okay, my loves, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Let me know if it was super helpful. I would love to chat more about detachment in the comments. So if you have any tips about how you personally practice detachment, drop them down below. But yeah, I feel like this is something that is an ongoing journey. You know, there are times where I feel like I'm really detached or detached enough from certain situations and I let things flow. And there are other times I feel myself attaching. That is just being a human, and that's okay. It's about knowing when you are so attached to something that you're allowing it to have power over your life, over your mental, over the way that you think, the way that you act, the way that you are, and knowing when it's time to release that attachment so that you can lean into your natural essence and your natural energy. And your natural energy is to simply not be attached. Your natural energy is to simply flow and allow and know that what is for you flows in, what is not for you flows out, and you are just simply here making space for all that is aligned for you. And that's simply all detachment is. So really hope you guys enjoyed this video. I will chat with you in the next one. Thank you so much for being here. Subscribe if you enjoyed, and yeah, chat soon. Bye.